Good morning, John here. Thought since my last Carpenter tip video did so well, it had 2,000 views in less than 2 days. It was just a simple tip. I think, well, I'll do more. And actually, if you have any questions on things you're puzzled in carpentry, feel free to comment and I'll do my best to answer it. But I thought, how you like my little mock-up here of a door frame? it's pretty lame, but anyhow, hopefully I can explain. I'm gonna show how I would hang pre-hung doors the simplest way. And a pre-hung is one that's already in the hinges, and it may or may not have the trim. We call them hoops. Sometimes they would come with a trim hoop, or it may just come the jamb and the door. Got an hair in my mouth. It may just come with the jamb and the hinges and the door mortised in. It all depends on who the supplier is and what you ordered. But sometimes, in the big box stores, you can buy them pre-hung, and they come with the hoops, we call them. But anyhow, how I would start: you've got plumb this way if the wall is out of plumb. You've also got issues if the wall is racked and the door frame is racked this way. You also can have issues where, let's say this is your hinge side and the hinges are this way and the door is going to swing this way. So let's say this is your hinge. So what I determine first is if this jack stud is straight. Sometimes they'll have a bubble or a bow here, and what I would start off doing is I would check your floor for level, being that this is your hinge side. You don't want this low, and you don't want to mount this on the floor. Plus, if you've got tile, carpet, hardwood going in, you'll want to allow for that. But you don't want to be low if the strike side where the door is going to hit is going to be high. You want to make sure you're allowing for whatever those factors are. But let's say the jamb has a bow in it, or if it has a bow in it, what I would do is I would use two of these. It's just 1/4 inch Luan plywood. This happens to be birch. I just use scraps, but I would nail one there and I'd nail one there, and that helps you to not have to deal with this bow. I know you could use shims, but I always found this was real simple. Just tack it on there. Or let's say this bottom is, if the bottom is out, or the top, like if it's racked a little bit, and the bottom, you could start, or let's say the top is like this. I would usually start by tacking that side and then put a level on it and shim your jamb out using the shims. And what I used to like to do was on the hinges right behind, I would use a trim screw to where you could adjust it. They come in different lengths, and I think they have the tech head. but the little trim screws, I used to like to use those. But once you get your jamb secured, and then also too, you've got to, like if, let's say this hinge side is, the wall is out of plumb. What I would usually do is I would split the difference. I would put half of in other words, I would make my door jamb plumb, and then by doing how to do that, if this wall is out of plumb, I would split the difference. I'd put half of the jamb on one side of the frame, and then the other half, because you can usually adjust that when you're putting your trim on, because you want to have a plumb door frame. And then once you get this hung and plumb, then it's real simple with a I usually put the door back in the hinges, and then I use the door as my guide for shimming and getting it plumb and fastening the strike side of the jamb, because the stops are usually already on the door frame. You can shut it, and then you can adjust it, and that was the simplest way that I found for hanging pre-hungs. I won't even go into mortising them out, and I've done hundreds of those or thousands of those as well, but I won't even go there. This is just a kind of a simple guide. Hopefully it's helpful for if you've never hung a pre-hung door and you're wanting to try. Those are some of the tips. So anyhow, hopefully that's helpful. Let's go out and see the garden. Yeah, we got just under 3/4 of an inch of rain a couple days ago. It was really getting dry. I was watering every night. But yeah, the garden really popped out since then. My herbs aren't doing too well, but my lettuce is doing real well. My kale's doing real well. So far the radishes, all they're doing is going to tops. My carrots are kind of limping along. Got another bed of lettuce. My peas and beans are doing real well. And got some asparagus coming up. Squash is coming up. But yeah, it's coming. Alrighty, hopefully that's helpful. You all have a blessed day. God bless.